Kia ora and welcome to step number 3 on setting up your first automation framework right from scratch. Today we're going to explore Appium Inspector. Now, before we get started, there are a few things you need to get ready as prerequisites. Number one is Appium Inspector. You can get this from Appium official website itself. I will also provide the links down below. And the second item we need today is an APK. This is an app that we will be testing today, or at least we will be exploring. For this APK, I am using a sample from SourceLab. This is an e-commerce website or e-commerce application sample. Agenda for today. It's 3 items. Number one, start Android emulator. This is in our own local environment. Item number 2, we need to start Appium server. And item number 3, we will be exploring Appium Inspector. Alright, let's get started. First item on the list is to start Android emulator. For that, I need you to go to Android Studio, and once you are there, you can navigate to Tools, Device Manager, and then this window will pop up, Device Manager. You can start your device, your emulator device, by clicking on play. I have already started previously, so that's why the app is already installed. But you can maximize this window so you can have a better view of the application being tested. Item number 3 on the agenda is we need to start Appium server. So for that we need to use terminal, and we need to run the command Appium space server. And now our Appium server is ready to listen. And item number 3 on the agenda is explore Appium Inspector. Now I have opened Appium Inspector already. As you can see, it's pointing to our local Appium server. And for us to start a new session, we need something called capabilities. Now, capabilities are attributes which Appium use to identify the device to use. In this case, I'm using the capability called platform name, which is pointing to Android platform, and then I'm using platform version. In my case, this is Android 14. The third capability is automation name. As you remember, in our previous step, we installed something called UI Automator 2, and this is the automation name we're using to initialize the session. The fourth capability is something that is a nice to have. It's not really mandatory, but what it does is it will not restart the app every time you initiate a new session, so this will save some time. Capability number 5, it's app or application, and this is pointing to our APK. In our case, is the sample we download from SourceLab. And then there is a 6th capability. This capability, what it does is waiting for the initial page. Once you open the app, it waits for that page to pop up. Cool. So now that we have all our capabilities set up, we have 2 options. First option is you can click on Save As, and this will allow you to save these capabilities so you can use them later on. And then we can start a new session. So let's start a new session. Now what it's doing in the background is, based on our capabilities that we provide, is identifying, yeah, I'm looking for an Android device, which version is 14, and it's installing again the APK on the device. And here you go, we have initiated our Appium inspector. Now, as the name says, we can inspect different elements and we can interact with those elements. We can do or perform tap events. We can send keys, for example, username, and then we can send that keys, and that will get reflected into the app itself. Now, in this section here is the session information, and by default is pointing to Java J Unit 5, but you can explore different programming language and different testing frameworks as well, and it will provide you with the initial set of code that you can use in your automation framework. This will become handy later on. Another thing that you may want to do is to record a session, and this will give you the initial set of programming syntax that later on you can just copy and paste in your programming framework, in your automation framework. And in order to do that, we just need to click on this icon that is recording. Cool. Now we go back to source and we can start interacting with the different elements again, or at least one more time. So we can do a click, we can send, probably we could, let's do a clear event first, send one more time the username, test, and let's send keys. So let's run a full test, password, and then finally we would like to click on login as well. So we're going to do a tap event, and there you go. So you can see we performed 3 actions. Now if we go to recording or recorder, all these 3 actions are here. So later on we can just copy paste and then use it in our framework code. So again, this will become really handy later on. And there you go. This is a quick walkthrough on Appium Inspector. Let's do a quick summary of what we have seen today. Number 1, we learned how to start an Android emulator using Android Studio. Number 2, I show you how to start your Appium server following Appium space server command, and then we interact with Appium Inspector. So we learn to use capabilities to start a new session, and we learn how to record a new session interaction to identify the different commands or syntax to later use in our code. Cool. That's it for today. Be waiting for you in step number 4. Yeah.